arbitration, then he divorces her. The second question is the contract of the court in the is that shari or we have to have a sheikh, an imam to make this marriage. There is a problem between a man and his wife. The man said to his wife, if you want the divorce, you are divorced. If you want the divorce, then you are divorced. Knowing that she is the one who asked him with her tongue, but she inside she don't want the divorce at all. So knowing that the man does not want the divorce and his intention not to divorce, but this worked as a reaction because uh, of not thinking about what he is saying or understand what he is saying or take it properly. First, to answer these questions, to the count, the marriage should not be in front of a faqih or anybody. It is the acceptance and the offer and the acceptance with between the guardian of the bride and the groom with two witnesses. I don't know what the court do. Uh, they don't tell me the form that they do. But this is from the east. This question comes from the east. So they go back to the Sharia. So they fulfill all the parts of the nikah and according to the fiqh committee that they follow in that country. So it should be a good contract until we found something different, that there is a part that's not there in the contract. The second question about the divorce that he have said that is considered on him. He will not be asked about the intention when it is clear. You ask the intention with the things that indicate the divorce. Unless he is in the ighlaq, meaning he is in the maximum anger where he don't over take his senses and he don't understand what he is saying and he don't intend what he is saying, and that is a divorce that does not count because the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ who said there is no divorce in ighlaq, meaning when you get to that stage of not understand what you're saying. There is no relationship between the woman whether she wants the divorce or not because the thing is in the hand of the husband, not the wife. Unless he be the divorce under her wish. If it is like that, then it did not happen, except to have the condition that the woman wants to have that intention to divorce. My my advice to you to go to a mufti close to you in your town who is going to ask you certain questions and then he will tell you exactly what need to be done. Another question. A dispute happened between three persons. They were in one area and they all heard each other. After they dispersed, one of them accused that the other one said something that hold the rights of people and shortcoming them. Do you have a clear? But he swear that he heard the person say one and so on. So we asked the one who is accused, and he swore by Allah he did not say that. And the third one, he testified that the accused did not say it. Now, the community in Canada want to know what is the rule to this man. Who is the aggressor and who is the oppressed? And who is the one is considered the liar? I wanted to stop talking about. He said the community are working for the Shari'a word on this or decree on this. The rule when there is a rule that the clarification on those who accuse and the swearing on those who deny. For the hadith of Ibn Abbas who said that people will call and accuse each other, but the proof has to come from those who are accused, and the swearing on the person who's been accused. So you cannot accept somebody saying of what he is accusing just because of accusation, but he needs to verify or some kind of proof to show. So if he asks the swearing of the other person, then he can. In the book of Omar for Abu Musa, he says it is the proof on those who accuse and the swearing on those who are denied, and the to make people is allowed between the believers, except for something that going to permit something unpermissible by Allah, or vice versa. So Zayd, he accused what Ubayd said. Then he was asked for the proof he did not have. So if he failed to make it, then he will be to dismiss the issue, and then the other person don't have to swear. And the best, you cannot suppose unless to stop the accusation. He swear, and the third party came in to swear that he supported the second one. Then the accused, he is supported by his swearing, and the witness on him saying, and the other one cannot. He have to stop the dispute because you have no proof. I cannot talk about the other person after all the facts are done, except the arrogance and the so fear Allah Azza wa Jalla and fix what's between you, and don't uh, cause a problem because it's the haliqa, because it is the one that shaves, not the hair, but it is the religion. Meaning it will wipe it, it will vanish it. Ameen, Allahumma ameen. Ameen. Another question, and he is in pain and suffering. Why? The practicing brother always against what the Prophet ﷺ sunnah with his wife and kids, as if he is an army person. Ain't that negative to the household of a Muslim? From all the mental abuse that is happening in that household, and he claims this is how I manage my household. On the opposite side, when we find him in an area and he's talking about his friend at work, you find he is shy and he is soft talking, smiling. But when his wife remind him of that, and the hadith, the best among you is the one who's with his wife. She said, when you are like Aisha, I will treat you like the Prophet ﷺ treated Aisha. And he wants us to comment on this situation. Before I go into the comments on this, we assume that all of these facts are right because we only heard from one side. But let's suppose that, for argument's sake, that all the facts is true. The harsh treatment of the husband on his household is aggression. It is against the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And you are feared that this person who's done like that he will get the call of the Prophet ﷺ, "Oh Allah, whomever have taken the affairs of any of my ummah, and he was harsh on them, oh Allah, make it hard on him." And whomever took affairs of my ummah, and he was lenient on them, so be lenient on him. And from the dumb thing is to be harsh on your family and very polite with the people outside your household. when he become a beast with his family, and it become more ugly. If this comes from someone who are attributed to the da'wah, and he probably sit like I do, or he take the pumpet so he could explain the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. I remember the best among you is the best to his family. And what's more amazing, when someone reminds you of the hadith, and he tells her, when you are like Aisha, I will be like the Prophet ﷺ. That is the dumbest thing to say. Because if he stopped his aggression and did his duties, the basic duties, and only the minor things are not there, and the perfection in the accusation, then he have a way, and we can understand him. But she is begging him with this hadith, so he will not be an aggressor, not to be an aggressor, and not to be verbally abusive and mentally abusive and have no manners. Isn't people like this are test to the believers in their religion and their life, and the ones who are cutting the road on people from Allah Azza wa Jal? Did he think that she came to her house and she have written the advice of the Prophet ﷺ to be good to your wives? And another advice, fear Allah in the woman, because you have taken them with the trust of Allah, and you have accepted their private part with the word of Allah. Remember that the aggression is very dark at the day of judgment. Allah said, for those who transgress, if they have everything on earth and like it as much as like it to, they will give away from to free themselves from the punishment of Allah. They've seen from Allah what they did not expect. And if those who transgressed, if they see the punishment, that Almighty is also Allah, and Allah is very severe in His punishment. The Prophet ﷺ went outside on Abu Mas'ud al-Badri, and he was hitting a man, a slave for him. So he came from behind him. No Abu Mas'ud, no Abu Mas'ud. So he looked back, then he saw the Prophet ﷺ. So the whip fell from his hand from the fear of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, no, Abu Mas'ud, that Allah is more capable on you than your capability on this slave or this man. That Allah is more capable on you than your capability on this man. He said, he is free in the sake of Allah or Prophet. He said, if you didn't do that, then the fire will be hitting you. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. So we continue. I work as a driver, and somebody agreed that I will take him to the church to pray and take him back to his house every day, every Sunday. And then he starts asking me to take him to a casino or one of the nightclubs. I have nothing to do with either. I'm just taking the person to take him from A to B. And everybody is responsible for what they do. Do I commit a sin when I do such a thing, knowing that I'm taking to a casino or church? Well, the majority of the scholars like to from this is not allowed, because you are helping on the falsehood and the worship of someone beside Allah, or the disobedience of Allah. Because the Christians and the Muslims in general, that you take them through, but we should not help them into any of the virtues that is forbidden, because Allah said, help each other on piety and goodness, and do not help each other on the aggression and sin. Can someone work in making a kanisa, a church? He said no. But Malik answered him no. He said, you should not sell your house for those who are going to make it a church, or your car that's gonna That's somebody you know that he's gonna take it to church every time. Or if you have taken, if I rented uh, my house and I know, so Malik said no, I don't like it that he would sell his house from those who use it as a church and to rent it for those who make it a church, or to sell in something to the non-believers when you know that they're going to give it for their idols. This is the majority of the school. Against them is Ahnaf, and they said it's allowed. He, he can revive or the church, and he can make it and the opinion of the majority is more guardian. The second part of the question, nightclub, you take him to these places. There is a decision for Amja that says the action or the work that outside Muslim countries. The 11th decision says the work on the rental when you can, you cannot. There's the cursing of the alcohol and those who hold it, the ones who makes it, and one who directly help in making it or selling it or distributing it. The second part, if there is to to only transport uh, the person, well, the contract on, and that is something allowed unless the person wanted to do something that is forbidden, and it is hated for the driver to go around the areas where it is very dangerous, like the casinos. I couldn't go in your car to get a customer, and it became more harsh. And the times when there's a plenty of people who do that, and to deal with them. About buying the insurance, the agent, he said you buy that to buy the insurance because the compensation will be much better and be more protection against any harm from the renters. So if the renteree he built a case that insurance will take care of the incident, because it is too expensive. So is it okay to buy the that insurance? Or what if this thing is owned by me? In the case, the answer, we have answered something like this several times before. In the insurance, it is not supposed to, and this is the majority of the Muslim committees. The reason, because it's full of the things that is, and that's because there is difference between that and riba. The riba is higher in forbidden. It is higher than the other one. From the exceptions, from the to no one can the afford the to treat himself without the insurance. If there is few uh, names, is the rules is not on something minor, and the insurance just like is enforced by the law. You have no choice about that. Or the like when you buy a repair service for something you buy, that is allowed. The areas where they have severe weather, where there is a lot of earthquakes and flash flood, or fires, and you can always tell. That's what I said. It is allowed to have insurance on the masjid because the people that comes in here, too many of them, and could be accidents. Also, the schools that they have small kids. So in some areas, there's some areas. Uh, these are the some of the things and the exceptions that is allowed. So if you live in this state and you know that people are in desperate need for that kind, so I hope that you have that. I mean, I mean. The second question in this lecture, inshallah, someone is asking the zakah on the shares. Is it on the principal part of it, and or and the income comes out of it, or the income only? The decision that MJ has, you distinguish between those who bought those shares so he could live from it. You don't sell the share by itself. He just bought it so he could get the income from it. Another one, whoever bought shares and he wants to sell those shares, so it became a commodity. So it's an investment. So he's saying what we have. So whoever bought it to live from it, you don't have to pay zakah, but pay from the income. But those who put it in to keep going back and forth on the shares, you have to make zakah on the origins and the principal and the income. There is another decision that was made not that recent, not that far. Did the shares of the companies Like, let's suppose I made shares for a private university. Does not sell, it sells service. Yes, they have building, and but at the end, all what she sells is the service. So you say the zakah on the income. We're not gonna say how much each building is and how much you pay the zakah, because you're not selling the building themselves nor these buildings. So the companies from that type, from interstate that does not sell or buy, will say yes, the zakah on the income only. But if this the principles are sold and bought and sold and increase and decrease, it's a place of investment. This is when the zakah on the origins. Another question. I have a sin before, and to put some pressure on myself, I made dua against myself at a time of acceptance of the dua, with the worst types of da'wah. If I go back to that sin again, he wants to hold himself responsible for what he did. So he kept making dua at the day of the last part of Sahar. If I did this again, do 1, 2, 3, 4 to me. So he will force himself to take care of it. He said, then again, I sinned again, not longer. And then I made the same thing. I made it worse than what I called myself. It's only a few days that I fell down in the trap of shaitan. Now I feel depressed. I don't know what to do. Do I ask Allah hate me? Allah don't want me. Is not going to fulfill me to repentance. I did this so I could put myself tight and repent, but I wasn't supported. I doubted my intention, and with my following of the Prophet ﷺ, is Allah going to be merciful on me after I've seen and all the destruction that I've seen? All servants of Allah, all daughter of Allah, you have made very clear evidence when you made dua on yourself. The Prophet ﷺ, he went to someone. He said he's like skin and bone. He said, what's wrong with you? What did you make dua with? He said, he asked Allah Azza wa Jal, if there is anything that's going to harm me, it is punish me in this life before you punish me later. He said, why you did that? Allah Azza wa Jal can forgive you. It is better for you to ask Allah Azza wa Jal to ask for forgiveness in this life and in the hereafter. You cannot do the torment, the punishment of Allah. Maybe you will reach an area of acceptance and then you'll be accepted. This is from the foolishness in Islam. Some of the believers, they thinking that with that they are more pleased to Allah, and this will help them more to stay on the straight path. Of course, they are wrong, but Allah is the one who forgives the sins, and He fulfill, and who will come back to Him sincerely, Allah Azza wa Jal will forgive him. Allah said, and if those who believe in our signs, tell them peace be upon you. Allah has written on himself mercy, that whomever did something wrong ignorantly and he repented after that and he corrected, that he will find Allah is most forgiving, gracious. Don't let that make you despair of the of Allah. No one leaves the mercy of Allah except those who follow the shaitan. Allah don't want you to make repentance, nor do He wants you to go back to Allah. And He wants you to feel despair, and don't let Him have you. Don't let Him oppress you. Have the gate of hope from Allah. And I hope Allah will not answer you on the things that you did wrong on yourself. And the human goes in a hurry. Don't make call against yourself or anything that you own, because you might have a time of answering and then you will be blaming yourself. Especially the dua on the son. Sometimes the son is you are the one who's killing himself. If you are answered, the first one who's going to stay and repent and regret is you. The first one. So be careful to make dua against yourself or your son. Hold your tongue and know nothing throws people on their faces worse than the cultivation of their tongue. The Shaykh is reciting a poetry to show that meaning. Dear brothers, inshallah we'll stop here today. Inshallah continue next time. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.